Oke, start kan?
Yes.
Oke, hai Marian.
Hello.
So, hari ini saya bersama dengan seorang yang bakal complete sebenarnya puzzle of learning about human nature basically and life overall. Sebab saya sentiasa ada teori-teori yang entah macam-macam tentang manusia, tentang psikologi, tentang social, tentang our education. So let's start about, sebab yang saya kena introduce pasal kau adalah kamu adalah orang yang pandai dalam bidang EQ.
Betul.
Ataupun emotional quotient kah intelligence?
Well, it's emotional quotient, but how I would say it, usually it's just EQ lah. Because if I were to say like to everybody emotional quotient, EQ, and then dorang pun like blur. But if I say IQ, people tahu pula. So I would just say emotional intelligence.
Ya, EI boleh cakap kah?
EI boleh, but then we would go to EQ because that's the measurement of
Tools.
Yes, that's the measurement of somebody's emotions.
So maybe we can start with what is EQ.
Okay.
Macam mana? Okay, my question yang mungkin akan buka kita punya conversation is, how do you know if someone has high EQ?
So for me kan, I like to observe. Everywhere I go memang like, maybe people think like, sombong juga nih orang nih. But actually I like to tengok my keadaan, tengok ada orang, and if I first time with the orang, if in kedai kopi, I would see how that person layan waitress.
Wow.
Yeah, because if dia datang and terus yang kenapa nih, saya sudah ada begitu, you know, those
cerewet.
yang terus cerewet, terus what, and then tiada manners. For me, that person has low EQ, because to have high EQ, you need to be aware of your emotions, yourself, and also of other people. So imagine if kau sana like, apalah kau ni kerja sini minta order ini, kau hantar saya ini. You can say it nicely bahkan. So imagine dia pergi belakang, panas sudah berapa puluh ribu, sudah dia layan hari-hari, gaya macam tu, habis. Nah, kau punya kopi. You know, that is what I'm so scared of. But yeah, that's how I would look at people's EQ first. Dorang punya mannerism lah. Dorang punya adab. If dorang punya adab tinggi, that means dorang punya emotional intelligence is tinggi.
Adakah dia sama dengan emotional regulation?
Yes.
Kebolehan untuk seorang to regulate, control dia punya emotion.
Control. Like, so let's say like that cerita kedai kopi lah kan. So dia tahu, let's say dia order begini tapi lain kena hantar. So if dia regulate dia marah sudah. So if that person macam is aware of, dia tahu dia mau marah sudah, and dia regulate like, it's okay, the person is just doing his job. I will tell the person, I say, boss, actually bukan ini bahasa order tadi. Mungkin ini order orang lain. Coba kau cek sebelum, nasib saya belum makan. So imagine the waiter pun yang, oh my gosh, saya salah. And berapa banyak, dorang sibuk, berapa meja dorang melayan. So they take back the order. Betul, orang lain punya order and your order will come. You know, kalau kau sudah marah-marah macam tu, the stress level, the emotion, not just you, the waiter, the person you're eating with, terus, tiada selera lah, saya mau makan, ndak jadilah berdating nih, you know, like that.
Ya, banyak sebenarnya situasi yang saya lalui begini. Saya pun observe orang juga yang saya akan macam, okay, kalau dia layan waiter macam tu, macam kau cerita tadi tu, apa sebenarnya masalah dia? Adakah dia baru bergaduh sama laki dia ataupun istri dia? And then adakah dia ada background? Saya suka buat analisis macam ni. Okay, kalau seseorang itu tidak dapat kontrol dia punya emotion sampai dia bergaduh ataupun mengamuk kan? Saya punya teori adalah, okay, jangan judge.
Yes.
Dia cuma tiada tools.
Tiada tools. Dia tiada tools untuk control. And dia tidak aware.
Dia tidak aware, which is a part of the tools, awareness kan?
First is awareness.
Which missing sebab how he or she grow up.
Betul.
Apa surrounding dia.
Betul.
So basically, teori saya ini, complete teori saya adalah, mungkin agak keterlaluan lah, sama tidak boleh diterima. seseorang yang buat kesilapan atau kesalahan, mengamuk atau pukul orang, at the end of the day, sebenarnya kita tidak boleh salahkan. Sebab dia, kalau kita pikir betul-betul, dia tidak sengaja. Sebab dia tiada tools untuk regulate
Betul.
emotion.
Betul.
Dia berada di family yang salah, di ekonomi yang salah,
Yes.
environment yang salah,
Yes.
genetik yang salah, hormon yang salah, dan semua salah. Dan kalau kau berada di tempat dia, genetik yang salah, family yang salah, environment yang salah, you will do exactly the same.
Yes.
Padahal teori saya betul.
Betul. I would agree with you lah. Like, imagine you have a calm environment, supportive environment, people who would look at mistakes as something to learn from. But if that family doesn't have that support system, atau the school doesn't have that support system, that person cannot communicate with whoever. So it all comes down to communication dengan diri sendiri
Dengan
dulu.
diri sendiri.
And then lepas tu tidak dapat tiada macam dia punya crosswire semua. Memang that's why like orang yang putus wire lah. Putus wire tu is they cannot communicate anymore with themselves, with other people, and that's why they get physical because nobody is listening to them. And also maybe from that environment, dia tengok dari kecil itu saja. Orang bergaduh memang, mari kita di luar, yang terus shoot. So if
Shoot. Lama saya dengar shoot.
So it that is why also we would come down to EQ is for communication and leadership. So if the leadership is wrong, the anak tengok dari kecil, what kind of leader you think they would expect?
Tapi untuk kamu yang mindset, your mindset as someone who teach EQ or leadership kan, do you see someone as in the mindset of blaming parents lah, for example, ataupun do you see that parent as someone who lack of tools?
Betul. Yes.
How do you see that?
I would see that as memang lack of EQ lah. And then in today's world, teknologi berkembang pesat. It upgrades so fast. But behavior to match with that, we should be upgrading our behavior according to the technology.
Ya, betul.
So imagine I say smartness or common sense or apa lagi tools that make us somebody yang berguna kepada masyarakat lah kan, starts when they are in the tummy. Yeah. So like what the mother eats, what the mother feels, what is it passes down from the mother and also the father. So imagine growing up like the father is absent and then dia punya, fathers will talk to the tummy but like hello, like if I can cerita dulu when I was pregnant juga, my husband would always sing. So sing to the tummy and I was like, oh my god, okay lah, cukup lah, Yeah. But and then sana di dalam tandang-tandang ba. So that starts a loving environment first. And then so bila yang sudah beranak sudahlah kan, I memang KO sudahlah macam yang couldn't penat sudahlah kan, and then the baby started crying, and then my husband was there actually 3 bah di sana, my mother-in-law, my mother, and my husband sana. So like
menonton.
ada penonton. And then so my husband just started, hi, I'm here, you're okay. He just started talking to the baby like to our firstborn lah. And then terus dia diam. She kenal the voice straight away. So it starts with during dalam perut lah. Okay, gestation. I think that's what you
gestation.
call it. And then after that, the critical part is the 0 to 2 years old. 0 to 2 years old kids need first is eye contact. Yes, yeah.
Macam mana eye contact?
So when that's why breastfeeding, I think, is the most magical thing ever. Because when you breastfeed, you're just looking and they're just looking at you. And then kalau yang mau gigit tuh kau tahu sudah, you know, that type. But it's just talking to the baby, talking. But now parenting is different. Either you just
Phone.
feed the bottle begini and then think of
betul,
phone.
betul.
And then feed that and then think of phone. So there's like first communication is always what? Eye contact. So if you don't have eye contact with the child, then it would not mimic how to talk, right? So if there's no eye contact, that means I would say that would be one of the causes maybe for speech delay lah. Because they don't look at you in the mata. You don't look at them in the mata anymore. Yeah. And then kids grow up, tengok apa? Tengok phone.
Screen.
I've seen babies like menangis and then all the parents do is surung handphone or surung tab. And I think that is the most dangerous tool for kids maybe under 6. So I have, my eldest is Gen Z lah. She's 20 and my youngest is 9, so Gen Alpha. So it's both different parenting. So parents need to know that every child is different. And don't compare lah. Dulu kakak kau begini, kenapa kau begini? You know, I had that growing up. But then again, like it's different generation now, and I try a lot not to give my youngest any gadgets lah. And if if they have gadget, also it's controlled. So parents dulu like, you know, eye contact, breastfeeding, and then 0 to 2 years old is constant, like, you know, even walking pun you look at them like walk, talk, facial expressions. That's the first language they learn first. Yeah.
Wow, so 0 to 2 and eye contact. Macam mana eye contact ni sebenarnya contribute to speech delay?
Because they don't see your mouth talk. You don't talk to them. You
So
expect
communication must together itu voice, eye
yes.
contact dan nampak mulut bercakap.
Mulut
Yeah,
bercakap.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes
So
sense.
before you want a genius, make sure dorang punya social skills are developed first.
Saya ada satu experience baru-baru ni yang mungkin berkaitan dengan ini, yaitu parents lah. So I interviewed a guest dari LGBTQ community,
Okay.
So banyak backlash lah,
Okay.
banyak kritik, kena hantam sana sini, dan basically komen-komen dia cakap ini LGBTQ atau being gay or trans is a choice. So saya bilang, I argue yang no, banyak faktor. Salah satu dia adalah genetik, dan macam mana aku berada dalam kandungan ibu bapa kau. Kau tahu dia bilang, yang kebanyakan lagi dia balas lagi, no, dia kasih salah ibu bapa lagi, dia bilang. Terus yang, macam mana? So ada dua sebenarnya poin di sini. Satu adalah tentang confirmation yang how you develop your character when you grow up is memang absolutely kena influence by bermula daripada kandungan lagi.
Yeah.
Kan? And then secondly is our Sabahan arguing style, which is so emotional. So do you think yang komen-komen dalam Facebook yang terus hentam, terus label kau sebagai support promote LGBTQ, terus label kau sebagai tiada agama, atheist, apa lagi, bakal kena bala, terus label-label begitu, adakah dia ada it reflects our lack of EQ among netizens?
Yes, obviously lah. And then when, let's say we start off as Gen X to now lah, dari dulu sampai sekarang, we are, how to say, if that family accept or whatever, there is love, and that person is happy to be somebody who they are lah kan, the choice they want to be. Yes, I mean, like, there's more now. And then, but for me, I don't wanna cari pasal lah. But for me, it's their choice. And who are you to judge? kan? The thing is, dia kacau birokrasi kau kah? Tidak. Dia kacau hidup kau kah? Tidak. I mean, so you don't judge them. The only person who can judge them is God. So
Cuma ada orang yang suka jadi wakil Tuhan.
Tengok cermin dulu lah. If you're that perfect lah kan. So they accept the imperfection that they are born with and look at it as perfection, love themselves. So why not, right? Yeah, I think that's my take on it. Like we have a lot of it now, but I bet those are also pembawaan Western, because they don't accept it dulu. And if I'm to be frank, in the local indigenous culture, there were a lot of them dulu. Like not maybe here Sabah, but they are called something in I forgot what's that word. In America, the natives they accept, they recognize. In Hawaii, they recognize. In the Polynesian islands, yes, they recognize. So I think if we go back to our culture dulu, it's just that we don't have anything in writing. I bet we have those yang, how to say this politically correct or socially correct. Choose who they want to be. Choose who they want to be. And people accept that. Yeah. Dulu. So I think because of religion, because of beliefs yang cannot. Yeah. So I think we have to accept like nobody is born perfect, bah. Yeah.
Betul.
Yeah.
Dan berbalik kepada the level of EQ lah among netizen lah. Tapi saya harap dia hanya segelintir saja lah, bukan general public lah. Tapi dia masih juga membimbangkan dan akan membuatkan saya mempersoalkan our education system. Adakah education system kita ini miss out this aspect of mind, yaitu EQ dan IQ. So saya mau ulang balik saya punya statement tadi pasal education system. I think our education system dia hanya recognize orang yang campin mengingat saja.
Betul. Oh my gosh. If I can ingat whatever script I do kan, I like memang campin already.
Campin mengingat saja. Seorang yang campin memaham, campin meng-apply kepada dari teori pergi praktikal, tidak kena recognize sebab dia tidak kena assess through exam. So, in your opinion lah, our current education system, adakah perlu improvement lagi untuk cater this aspect of intelligence?
I like it when you say improvement kan, so that means we need to change. But to grow is painful. So it could cause pain to
grow.
Some pain in the system lah. People might not like it, or people might accept it. But for me, our education system, like you said, memang kalau dia pandai hafal dari kecil,
Terus 12A.
12A, like wow. But I tell you what, I have experienced those yang memang you see like, wah dia 12A, wah dia, and then saya sini budak kelengas like, like apalah saya mau jadi nih.
Saya boleh jadi dokter sudah, saya pandai mengingat.
Yeah, but the education system I think lacks social skills. Because the social skills is what that is the thing that will determine your EQ juga, right? If you don't, let's say yes, dia budak pintar, but are they happy? When they got 12 A's, are they happy? And then after that, sudah 12 A's, kena paksa lagi jadi dokter. But what if that person just wanted to do art? So at the end of the day, you might get a rebellious anak yang, okay lah, saya buat saja apa yang kau mau lah, jadi engineer, but after that,
sejil Pak, saya sudah jadi engineer, sekarang semua pergi melukis.
Yeah, like, and then after that, the parent, when they decide like that, the parents shun them. Like, I paid so much, begini. It's just the expectation of the society that is still toxic. So if the intention in the school system is to bring up kids who you see lack of, yang menghafal tuh, give them another direction. Like you see Australia, they know that there is a market for, yes, professionals, and then there's a market for skills. And I tell you, kids that don't do well academically because they're not,
Tidak minat.
dorang tidak minat lah, atau bukan dalam darah dorang lah batu kan. And if you push them to skills, they would thrive. And what makes our economy, what grows our economy? Skills. And now, like even to buat bangunan kah, buat apakah, it's the perception of, si tidak mau buat tu, PTI saja. I mean, so going back to education, that's where it's wrong lah.
Ya. Berapa banyak aspek dalam education system yang dari pandangan kau yang perlu diubah? So untuk pandangan saya dulu lah, saya rasa dia macam kita ingat buat rumah tuh mesti kita fokus kepada tulang dia saja, tiang dia saja, dan ada dinding. Tapi sebenarnya untuk membentuk satu rumah yang sempurna, kena ada cat yang cantik, ada atap yang tahan, ada perabot yang selesa.
Ya, betul.
So saya rasa education system kita ini dia hanya fokus kepada satu saja. Asal dari jauh kita nampak dibentuk rumah, cukup lah.
Ya, cukup. Estetik tidak
Estetik.
penting.
So, what do you think?
I think so. That's where people with skills come in. And I'm not saying that our education system is wrong. We're actually headed towards that direction. You have TVET, you have Polytechnic and whatnot. But I think it's a bit late lah. Imagine if they started by 12. By 12, kau tahu sudah bah, dia pandai matematik kah tidak? Dia punya minat di sana kah tidak? And then if you push them to 13 years old, to pertukangan, to whatever. Now it's just KH kan, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Kemahiran hidup.
And then that skills is developed just later because perception is, okay, kau punya grades is bad. So kamu masuk skills lah. But imagine if it was brought up to a higher level. Hey, if you want to do TVET, gini-gini. And then pelarasan gaji for that is good. Because if you go Australia, it's like they're paid more than...
Apa dorang panggil tuh kalau Australia? Tradesman.
Tradesman. You give a...
Ramai hot tau tradesman kalau di Australia. He's a tradesman.
Not just hot, but with money. Ada duit. Poket tebal.
Itulah.
So, if you give that perception, I bet we don't have, drainage of skills yang they learn their skills here and then end up dorang kerja di Dubai, dorang kerja di Australia because you gave that platform, but the market is still begitu. So I think that's my take on education system, and also those dropouts. I mean, like I've known so many young drop out or didn't have good grades. They are like, kalau boleh ada yang millionaire sekarang. They are people in good business. Maybe because they are street smart.
Street smart. Itu yang saya suka.
Street smart.
Ana juga mau belajar juga. Adakah street smart people adalah orang yang ada IQ yang tinggi?
Yes.
And how?
Why?
How so?
Because street smart people, they communicate to get what they want. And kids, when they learn through play kan? Adults must learn through mistake. So those yang street smart, they have no other choice. They have to make that mistake and learn from it. And if they don't learn from it, memanglah tiada IQ lah sudah kan. And imagine like you invested this much and then that business fails. are you gonna like, oh tidak boleh lah ni? Tidak.
Mau
They,
failure.
yeah, they're like, okay, what can I learn from this mistake and move on. They try so many things. And then can you imagine those yang I've seen yang jadi, yang ada 12 A's, yang all that. At the end of the day, ada yang just not doing anything now.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't what macam itulah bukan yang dorang mau buat.
Yeah.
So they're stuck in life like too late to restart or too late to backtrack because sometimes dorang punya EQ or dorang punya social social skills kurang. Because sometimes social skills is all about talking. And businessmen, salesmen, semua apa dorang punya kebolehan
EQ,
bercakap.
So memang untuk berjaya ada statement yang bilang A student will work with C student gitu kan. Sebab kebanyakan C student dia lebih fokus kepada being a street smart.
Street smart.
Yeah. So leadership and EQ macam mana?
Yeah, so for me, when I train leadership, communication, it all boils down to EQ. So you cannot paksa this person to communicate. It's not a one shoe fits all punya style, and that is why I like to do EQ and LPI. Dorang punya personality. So sometimes when you are aware, like, oh, my personality, I don't talk much. So I need to kasih up this trait. And usually I would always take this contoh, let's say ada 3 orang lah ni engineers. Semua ada degree, semua ada master, semua taraf IQ dorang semua sama. And then ada promotion. So satu, data analytics dia kerja dia memang wow, report memang bagus. The other one so-so, but social skills dia bagus. Dia pandai buat presentation. Dia pandai jaga hati bos. Dia pandai jaga everybody around him. And then dia punya environment in his team is positive, happy. They like working with him. And then lepas tu the third one is somebody yang ego. Saya, bos suka saya, whatever, yang nobody can beat me. Memang lah, because mungkin dia study overseas and all. So imagine in the interview and whatnot, those yang pandai cakap, and then and also at that stage, who you think will get the job?
The second one.
Yeah, the
Tapi
second
adakah
one.
itu?
So that is EQ. Because sometimes with emotions, you have to decide very, very fast. And controlling your emotions or being aware of your emotions will make you calmer, kan? You're calm. Kau tidak terus yang marah and then, terlepas.
Sekarang ini kortisol saya yang tinggi nih sekarang.
So, so if that person punya emotional control, awareness is high, that means they are calm, then don't you think they can talk better to people, they analyze people, how to talk to them, and then after they lead themselves good, but then after that they lead people better because they have control. They have control over their emotions, and that's where IQ lah comes in. They can decide based on the situation. They can decide based on facts. So these are the personality traits that I analyze people with lah. Yeah.
So when it comes to raising a kid, apa benda yang like general kita boleh buat?
So usually when we see kids punya results, they have high O and they have high R. Why? Because all they ask is why.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're curious. So high O is curious. Like why? And then lepas tu
diamlah.
Sama. Yeah, diamlah. Atau if me kan, I had a lot of whys dulu, and then kalau tidak sana chat, why we have to kneel down again? Why? And then sana tuh kena kubit sudah.
Why?
Why church so long? You know, I'm sorry, but I would remember that lah. Like, why do we have to be here? You know, why can't I go outside? So that's why O is curiosity. Dorang punya O sangat tinggi. But because of the experiences of growing up, kan, like tidak boleh buat begitu, tidak boleh. And then eventually their creativity, their curiosity goes low, and maybe they get even more sensitive because their emotions are not regulated. Dorang kena marah without being told what they did wrong. Why is it wrong?
Because I said so lagi.
Yeah, because
mindset.
yes, because I said so. No, there's no logic reasoning for them. So their O goes lower and then their N goes higher. So they are a little bit more sensitive lah. Sikit-sikit tidak boleh, sikit-sikit tidak boleh. So when their N is high, that means dorang cepat terasa. Ya, baru saya buat macam tu sudah kena marah. Baru saya buat macam tu sudah kena sindir. Ya.
Wow.
So that is where we see kids. And kids need discipline. They need how to say, halatuju lah, kan?
Yeah, with that, saya tidak mau loss sebenarnya pertanyaan lah. Sebab from what you explained just now, dia agak banyak aspek yang kita kena consider.
Yeah.
But saya selalunya saya akan fokus kepada how to teach my kid to regulate their emotions. Kalau stress, macam mana orang handle stress, macam mana dia orang handle rejection, kawan-kawan tidak mau kawan dia, apa perlu bikin, how to think. But saya tidak tahu kalau saya terlampau kasih disiplin dia untuk biar dia kontrol sendiri, ataupun saya masih perlu support dia. Okay, kau nangis sekarang, kau mau peluk, ataupun perlu kasih macam address di semua dia punya feeling sampai dia terlampau dependent dengan saya. So how we go about it, kan?
Yeah.
So macam mana?
So you know, like sometimes yang kids menangis dan kau nangis lagi, nangis lagi, jangan kau nangis. You know that, but sometimes let them feel their emotions, especially when we marah kan. Marah pun IQ buang ke laut sudah, marah anak, you know. But then after that, you tell them why you marah. And then let them cry. Tapi I said, if my kids cry juga, okay, you cry now 10 minutes only. But release your emotions lah. But then ask, why are you angry? Get them to talk. Why? Why did you do that? Because if you don't ask why, and they don't communicate it, dorang akan pendam. So when you pendam, and then it will build up. Sadness turn into frustration. Frustration turns into hate. So it's always good to communicate and talk. I mean, I learned it the hard way. You know, I wish I knew EQ or LPI. Like, no, I wish I knew what I'm doing now. Like when my eldest was how old? Going through her teenage years. Begadu ja. Yeah. So, but eventually, nasib I did something right lah, kan, somewhere. Yeah. But it's always, as parents, we turn up our end. We listen. Yeah, jangan like, tulah kau. You know, even in marriage pun, the word we don't say in our relationship, nakan, sudah saya cakap, tulah kau.
I told you
this
so.
Too. This. We don't say that anymore.
Sorry. Sorry, my love.
Yeah, but it gives a perspective lah, you know, a positive environment. Like mau marah, I'm not saying EQ tu jangan marah. I mean marah with limits, and you must know like where you did wrong as a parent, and lepas marah tu sudah cool down, talk to them.
Apa cikgu perlu buat dalam sekolah untuk address, untuk bantu dorang punya EQ?
Listen. Yeah.
Listen.
Kids growing up, you listen, but you give them boundaries. Especially growing up, if they don't have boundaries, you will have kids yang will test that. Yeah. So, yeah.
So dalam education
discipline,
system.
Discipline, yeah.
Ya, saya pun macam susah juga balance yang terlampau layan orang punya emotion, takut orang dependent.
Yes.
Tapi terlampau kasih biar takut kena neglect juga.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's
It's a balance. It's
kan?
and that's why we say like work-life balance. For me, it's work-life harmony. It has, I mean, like how much can you balance, kan?
Yep.
But harmony too, as long as you know, yeah, it's still padu. You're still together. You're still together with your family. You're still trusting people around you. That's harmony, right?
Yeah.
And also, you are happy. Everybody is happy because right now, I think the problem everywhere is people are not happy.
Yes,
And when
yes.
they are not happy, apa yang kau dapat netizen lah.
Ya, semua hentam saja.
Dah hentam. Tapi di rumah, ya, cerminkan diri sendiri
Yes.
dulu.
Macam mana kau assess orang yang sudah tua macam saya?
Oh, I can give test. You want to do?
Try.
Ada nasib I prepared.
So verbally saya lah. Tidak
Um,
payah saya jawab written.
Can I pinjam your pen?
Okay.
So this is a quick self-test lah.
Okay.
This is express. So the accuracy could be just maybe 70%.
Okay, so cukup.
Okay, 70%. I usually do it with 50 questions. So the first question, okay? There are 5 questions. So you have to imagine yourself at the workplace lah, professionally. So this is a professional punya assessment. Okay. First question, so you have to rank. Okay, you have to rank it 1 to 5. Okay. Paling tinggi and paling rendah. All right. So I see myself being imaginative, calm, careful, friendly, fast, and quick. So if imaginative, how would you rank most like you lah? Imaginative kah, calm, careful, atau friendly, atau cepat?
Friendly.
Friendly. So that's the highest. Okay. And then next,
Imaginative.
imaginative,
Baru calm.
calm.
Lepas tu yang last is
So there's 2, careful, fast, quick.
careful.
Okay. Quick.
Quick.
Okay. Next one, kasih rank, okay? Curious, nice, cautious, optimistic, decisive.
Nice.
Okay.
Optimistic. Curious. Then apa yang?
Cautious, decisive.
Cautious. Cautious saya nombor
4 kan? Okay.
Kasih pindah dia pergi nombor 2.
Okay.
Dan kasih
And then curious sama decisive.
Decisive paling rendah.
It's okay.
Saya packing pun 2-3 kali. Okay.
Because you're highly analytical.
Yeah.
But okay. Next, innovative, good listener, accurate, cheerful, result oriented.
Kasih cheerful dulu.
Bukan my bias, but I think I know your answer.
Ini kan kopi dong.
Oh yeah. Okay, good. Yeah.
So innovative, good listener, accurate, cheerful, result oriented. Good listener.
Okay.
And then result oriented. Lepas tu accurate, baru innovative.
Okay, next. Creative, easygoing, hardworking, likes others, confident.
Wow. Easygoing, creative, like others, hardworking, confident.
Okay. Next one. Resourceful, patient, serious, warm, loves challenges.
Resourceful, warm, serious, patient, and love challenges.
I know his answers already.
Yang decisive tuh yang saya lucu sebab saya imagine balik saya punya bini selalu tegur saya kalau saya ambil parking kan ada 2 parking, yang tuna lagi senang, sini pun senang. Make up your mind lah, parking sih mana-mana gitu.
Jarang gak ada sama bini deh kan?
Ya, saya agak aware lah sebenarnya kelemahan yang di situ.
11, 16. Okay. So your result is you are a very easygoing person. Yeah, your neutral and your relational very high. So obviously, if your relational is not high, then you won't be doing this podcast lah, right? Yeah, but your next one that makes me more to say
Terkejut.
not terkejut is like wow. Because sometimes you don't know who you are, and this is data. So that's why I love data. I don't just saya rasa dia macam. But I had a feeling already. You're an easygoing guy who likes to talk lah, and kind of slow in, very okay. Yang a nice guy,
People's pleaser.
But if you were not a people pleaser, kan, you wouldn't have this podcast, okay? Kau bergaduh saja sama orang, right? So that's why if your relational was high, but your neutral was low, because now it's 19 and 20, bah. So imagine if your neutral low, kan, your relational tinggi, kau memang cari gaduh saja sama orang tuh. But your neutral is high. That means you listen and you talk according to what you're hearing lah. So you are an intentional listener, okay? An intentional punya, how to say, you converse with intention lah, right? And then this one yang I like is your openness. Your openness is high. So that means you're a very positive person. Also, you are very curious. And that's why you ask a lot of questions.
Yes.
Macam, yeah. So I guess that's why perspective is your the perfect title for your podcast. Kan? So you are very, very open. You're open to ideas. And I think combined with how neutral, easygoing you are, you make this podcast very calm. Yeah. So you also jangkit me lah, calm. Because tadi punya bahasa saya punya tangan nervous. Because I don't do well with camera. Yeah, I don't really. And I can tell you, my result is opposite of yours.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's why.
So that's why like you lead on the questions and I answer a lot. But we're both creative people, so that's why we get to think outside the box, and that is what is missing in most personality punya test. Because they don't kira ni openness. They don't kira this person punya curiosity level. All they do is dorang punya kepintaran and what. So when we balance this out, we can actually see the person's EQ. Yeah. So like I said, you like to talk, but you also like to listen. And that's EQ. It's balance. Yes. The one that I would maybe push you to challenge more, because we see strength and weaknesses, and people never like to hear weaknesses, kan, is your decisiveness. Ya, kemahiran untuk membuat keputusan dengan cepat.
Yes.
So it's not a problem, but it's a challenge for you. Like, saya tahu sudah saya buat keputusan lambat. So give yourself like this is the tools. Like when I do training, if somebody has low decision-making punya skills, like what do I do? All right, so you make decisions slow. Find somebody who can make decisions fast. And that is why you have your wife.
Yeah, but can we actually improve that, kan?
Yes, you can.
How?
So you give yourself like, okay, I have a decision to make. You give yourself limit. I have to make it within half an hour.
Kalau silap gimana?
Kalau silap, then what to do? You learn from mistake. Yes, and that is what people are always so scared of, because dari kecil you're not allowed to make mistakes. You must be perfect,
Yeah,
perfect,
yeah.
perfect, perfect, perfect. But then at the end of the day, adults learn through mistakes. Like when you say something wrong, what do you say? Kalau ego, if somebody with high ego lah, they say something wrong, terus like, that's okay, paduli lah. But then if people with high EQ, they say something wrong, they knew they made that mistake, kan?
My bad.
My bad. I'm sorry. And what is the hardest word to say?
Sorry.
Sorry. So that's
Sorry.
EQ. So that's EQ, knowing that you made a mistake and you own up to it. Knowing that this is a failure, especially in project or whatever, you own up to it. You find solution. Bukan
Cari.
dalam apa? You
Under the
sapu
carpet.
under the carpet, or you blame. Oh, bukan saya, Pak Ni, dia, Pak Ni, dia, Pak Ni, dia, Pak Ni. But at the end of the day, when you point fingers, kan, one finger is pointing out, the rest, so let's say 3 fingers is pointing back at yourself. So that is EQ. That is EQ, knowing that I cannot blame people, but let's gather the team together and find the root cause. Yeah. So that is what is lacking in the workforce, in the education system. Bukan salah saya tuh, salah dia.
Indecisive and leadership. Saya memang paling tidak boleh jadi leader lah ni kan.
Boleh. Nah kan, jangan terlampau analyze. Are you saying you?
So saya mau coba mana yang apa yang saya perlu, saya paling kurang lah basically. Sebab saya imagine leader need to make decision fast mah.
Not all the time. Not all the time. You have to see. You make actually a good leader. It's just that not fast enough. I'm not saying your score for leadership, I mean for membuat keputusan nih kan, yang decision tuh tiada, ada, tapi dia low. Because you listen, you talk first, you think outside of the box first.
Politicians,
if they have your criteria, everybody will love you. Ada. Your relational very high, pandai bercakap. And you cakap dalam what is in your heart and in people punya heart. Because your EQ tinggi. You tengok like keadaan. That's why you decide, you don't decide fast. You can decide, but you don't decide fast. Bukan yang, okay, mari kita buat begini. Some people, when their decision making, their decisiveness is high, but when their end is low, that is also still negative. Because they don't listen. Dorang say, okay, this one, begini saja buat, ikut jalan saya. So does that make a good leader? No. So once we know, ini kita punya default system lah. Kau tahu dalam handphone kan, ada boleh off hotspot, off social media, off whatever. So it's the same thing. This is the default system yang, okay, my wife is talking right now, and if you don't off your R, memang World War III. So like, okay, my wife is talking, I should kasih hi my end. You listen, you empathize, kan? So imagine if someone who is going through something, that's why therapist apa dorang buat, dorang dengar, you listen before giving feedback lah. And I like your result because the O is very high. Because when I do this test kan, I like to cari orang punya O. Because I know in the office, this one you cannot tell. Unless like me, you are aware already, kau memang cari O in people. They are the ones who think outside the box. They are the ones who come with crazy ideas. But then, tidak kena tengok. Because, apalah kau punya idea ni? Tidak masuk akal. But actually, they are helping you think creatively. Yeah. So people who draw, people who like you tadi like my music, I knew you were high already. You know, but this is data.
Yeah, interesting. Because selama ini memang saya tertanya-tanya, kenapa, apa rasanya agaknya saya punya kekurangannya, sebab it seems yang every time I try to plan work lah,
Mhm.
saya selalu dilema yang macam, mana saya mau buat dulu? So, ini pun penting, ini pun penting, ini pun penting. And then, kalau oke saya buat ini dulu. And then, time saya mau buat nih satu benda, buat ini dulu sekejap lah.
Yes.
So that, itu pun,
Because that is your O. Your O is
okay.
working. You macam like I said lah, kita buka tab banyak-banyak
Ya, ya,
tuh.
ya, ya, ya,
Buat
ya.
ini, buat itu, buat
Ya,
ini,
ya.
buat itu.
Multitasking.
Multitasking, but at the end of the day, that's why the D turun.
Yeah.
So now you are aware,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And then you are aware, like, okay, then you can put on your creative hat. Say your goal for that one project is either to be more analytical or to be more creative, then you pick the project or the plan that needs to be done first.
So
Macam
just
tu.
focus on itu weakness lah kan.
Yeah.
Mental toughness
Okay. Mental
in
toughness.
EQ. Adakah saya boleh cakap orang yang ada mental toughness yang tinggi mempunyai EQ yang tinggi?
Yes, they do, because once you're able to know yourself, I mean, know your default system, know your your default system, your emotions. Bila, let's say, frustration, bila rasa down, people with high EQ will give them time. Okay, I will feel down. I'm not saying don't feel it. I will feel down. I will give myself time. Let's say 2 days lah to feel this. Layan lah tu perasaan. And lepas tu, I will pick myself up from it. And that is emotional control. When you're there already, and then you realize, okay, time to get back to work. Time to get back to reality, or, jangan layan sudahlah ni perasaan. Time to move on. So that's where the mental toughness comes in, because you can control what you think already. So if you can control, when you can regulate your emotions, and then you control your mind, control your thoughts after that, because you tell yourself, okay, cukup sudah, move on, then you can control your action. So when you're able to control your action, that means you have mental toughness, sudahlah. Yeah, so this is all a process that some people, dorang rasa macam it's automatic bah. We are not robots. We are not. We are human. So when ada technology, you rely so much on that technology, kerja, whatever. Thank God for AI and whatever. But AI don't tell you how to feel bah. They don't tell you like you are burnt out. But when you are frustrated, when you don't know what's going on or whatever, kan itu main problem is you don't know what you're feeling sudah, because there's no emotional regulation there. Yeah.
Ada teori yang mengatakan orang Sabah ni dia punya mental lagi tough dari orang lain. Itulah sebabnya orang Sabah boleh ramai yang jadi askar, jadi komando. Adakah dia berkaitan dengan EQ? Oh, just diorang tidak ada tools untuk proses emotion saja. Itu pun
I
boleh
think
jadi.
diorang memang tahan tukul.
Ya, tahan tukul.
Our generation memang tahan tukul lah. Millennials memang tahan tukul, especially in Sabah, because we, how to say, we develop slower than the rest.
Survival.
We have our survival skill, our survival mode. Hey, we all punya rumah atas pokok, what? You know?
Perlu tiap hari panjat pokok.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're, as Sabahans, we are mentally tough and physically, and it's all in the environment juga.
Because
Culturally, environment plays a big role lah. Support system plays a big role in developing somebody's EQ. Yeah. So imagine if like somebody yang IQ tinggi tapi tidak pandai bercakap, and then they get frustrated and they think ego dorang, I am somebody this. So do you think dorang punya mental what did you say tadi tu? Mental toughness is there? No. they end up blaming people around them. And that is what scares me, is that our generation, okay, we are, how to say, macam durian. You know, we're tough like durians, kan? Macam yang, apa yang kita kena, we've gone through a lot, but and we were not sheltered. We were not sheltered, like, we still had some experiences out from the house, boleh main di luar, naik bus sekolah. Our social skills dulu was so high, kan? Like naik bus sendiri, everything.
Masak sendiri dari Darja lagi.
Ya, berdikari lah, because parents working, and then kalau cuti school, mana kita kena buang di kampung. I was like, that is my favorite memory lah. Like, yes.
Kena buang di kampung.
Ya, kena buang paling kalangas kan di rumah. So like, but yeah, so that makes a person, grows a person like internally and externally lah. Dorang punya mental toughness, emotion pun, because okay, let's say pergi kampung kan, kau bukan di bilik je kan, kau di luar. Jumpa
sungai,
and then you make a lot of mistakes, like, oh my god, dalam pula tu, and then you go,
hampir mati punya mistake pun ada.
A lot of, because we had
Near
survival
death experience-nya banyak.
See, we have like that survival mode. Now, like, because of the crazies around, or because we were crazy, so we tell our children lah, jangan kau buat begitu.
Yes.
Jangan. So they're sheltered. So I think, so they are called the strawberry generation, because So, and imagine having in the workplace lah all this different type of generation. Kita tahan tukul, dorang strawberry, and then after that we have Gen X yang betul-betul authority, yang because when they work before, boss is boss, staff is staff. So
yes, boss.
Yes, boss, because the bosses had the privilege mungkin to belajar jauh and what, and then when we're just staff, like we know our place because that's why we're called kaki tangan, right? But then when we come to the millennials sudah, we had the opportunity for education. Our education system gave us, even our economy was good, gave us the opportunity to have uni, to belajar jauh. Girls are allowed to study already. And then that's why, like, dulu in the workforce, lelaki je kan, perempuan di rumah.
Mesti suruh rumah.
So that's why we have this imbalance in the workforce, because women were not seen a lot in the workforce before by the Gen Xs. But then for the millennials, ada peluang pekerjaan bagus, because ada peluang education system bagus. They have skills. I mean, they were sent out to do sports and whatnot. So all this is the chaos lah in the office, because everybody is different. And then if you come lagi Gen what now? Gen Z. Gen Z lagi, who rely so much on technology and all. So can you imagine lah a Gen X and a Gen Z working together? Aku terus ketawa.
Saya pernah ada nampak statement yang saya dengar satu program betul. So ada ni satu kira successful insurance agency manager lah. Sekarang ini saya umur 60-an sudah, tapi paling mencabar saya sekarang adalah to work with Gen Z. Saya tidak paham dorang, dia bilang. So my goal now is to understand this new generation and how to work with them.
That is a good leader, because he wants to understand them.
If I can break this formula, I will become more successful.
Do you know what the formula is?
What?
Communication. Because that's where the breakdown is. Cara that's why I say, dorang dulu boss is boss, kaki tangan is kaki tangan, and everybody is yes boss. You think Gen Z is yes boss? They're like, bos, komputer pun kau tidak pandai pakai, Excel pun kau tidak pandai pakai, or bos, AI saja bah,
Yeah.
And then bosses are like, oh my God, I'm stupid. Like, because, and then they feel insecure working with the Gen Zs because the Gen Zs are like,
Yeah.
result. But the human emotions, the social skills for Gen Zs, 0. Gen X, high. They like to talk. You ever jumpa orang tua yang masuk kapal terbang, you just sit down, and then this auntie is like,
Yeah.
and then you see the Gen X's masuk kapal macam mana? Earphone,
Yeah.
hoodie,
Yeah.
tidur.
Gen Z.
So that you can already see the communication barrier there. And that's why in the workforce, like training now, they are always firefighting. Like, apa ba masalah kamu nih? Apa ba? Because they don't go back to the root cause. The root cause is human behavior. Communication. How to communicate with Gen Zs. How Gen Zs should communicate with Gen Xs. Because I tell you, Gen Zs, dia pandai buka mulut. They will not ask how to do this. Because they will ask ChatGPT to do it. Because ChatGPT general kan.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry Gen Zs. but ini memang like hakikat. Hakikatnya lah. Like they will ask ChatGPT, and then when they end up talking to the boss, it's the wrong thing. So the only practice is to talk to understand your bosses.
Ya, saya ada teori pasal Gen Z yang menjawab saya punya, to explain the character lah, and how they are different than us. Gen Z yang saya nampak, yang saya paham, dia orang rasa lebih, the information is more available and they know more than the previous generation, So it makes them more entitled. Kalau macam ada bos kasar sikit, dia boleh Google undang-undang sudah. Oh, menurut ini undang saya boleh suruh kau tahu. So dia orang rasa lagi empowered.
Empowered or entitled.
Yeah.
They're entitled because they don't know social skills. Sikit-sikit su. Because they don't talk kan. It goes back to communication lagi. You don't talk to your boss what actually is the problem and how to mitigate and solve the problem by talking. Tiba-tiba surut layang.
Karena kasar sikit besok. Viral itu pun jadi senjata juga.
Like I said lah, when it gets viral, dia punya backlash or dia punya backfire tuh, you think to the boss or to the Gen Z? So usually it's the Gen Zs, and what they do, I don't like this place, I'll resign. That's why the increase of turnovers for staff is high in the Gen Zs because they feel misunderstood nah. One thing is because dorang tidak buka mulutnya. And then ini baru Gen X dorang kerja. Imagine dorang kerja with millennials. Macam kita nih. Lagi
yang penghubung.
Not penghubung.
Oh, different totally.
Millennials, they're like, don't call them. You text them.
SMS.
Message dorang. You call them. Gen X, you have to call. You message them, tidak kena nampak besok bila Gen X, you have to call them kan. So Gen Y or millennials, you don't call them, you WhatsApp them, or maybe you send an email, kena balas lagi. Imagine Gen X's, ting dorang buka dorang punya email, dorang punya PA yang buka email, and then how to communicate with the Gen Zs. Sometimes dorang tidak buka phone, tidak jawab phone, they don't even want to answer calls anymore because now we got Truecaller kan. Oh, spam nih, Anda mau jawab lah. Scammer. So imagine that. So that's why when we have Gen Zs coming in, what's your social media?
Yeah. It's normal, it's like email.
It's their form of communication, and that is why ego breaks down communication because saya mau lah layan. I don't want to bring myself down to that level. But actually, when we need to communicate, is ego aside, accept that everybody is different. Itu baru Gen X, Y, millennials, and Z, and then now entering into the workforce lagi the Gen Alphas.
Itu lagi lah.
Itu lagi lah. They want
Social skill memang saya rasa
zero, and especially with COVID.
Oh ya.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And then imagine like dorang form 2 lah. Form 2 primary 6 to form 2 kali at that time. Tidak bercakap, tiada social skills. So
Yeah.
imagine now what would they be in the workforce. Imagine during our time, primary 6, form 1, form 2, those are early adult punya developing years. Yeah.
Sangat experimenting.
Yeah,
Kawan
we
dengan
did.
dia macam ni.
Yeah, and we did so many sports. Kan dulu dorang COVID mana ada di rumah. And then at that time juga, they were not exposed to not danger, but they were not exposed to experimental punya social skills and everything.
Yeah.
They actually went to trauma because of COVID.
Yeah.
So we didn't go through trauma. We didn't go through a time yang we had to stay home and what. We're still like very, very positive, very, very looking into the future punya. They are in survival mode sometimes. Oh my God, what if another, apa ni? PKP or another another big quarantine or another big event happens. So these are the emotional triggers that if they are not addressed earlier, memang bila dorang tua kesian lah. And one thing I know is hindered is dorang punya social skills.
Kan?
Yeah. Social skills is so important.
Sangat penting.
And especially to thrive in adulthood, that's why we experiment time budak-budak our intrapersonal and interpersonal skills. Yeah, say like dulu ada boyfriend girlfriend, macam tu. Dorang
membantu.
And then we spoke, right? Dulu dorang main phone.
Emoji lagi.
No, dorang main phone. And then I see now like when berdating in kedai kopi, they don't even talk. Oh my God. Saya nampak di sebelah meja Valentine's Day, okay? And then like berdating, semua yang muda-muda ada berdating kan like, oh my gosh, are they not talking to each other? No, they're just...
Oh, itu saja.
Yeah. So I don't know if they're communicating to that person or what. And I don't know lah how divorce rates will be for them because talking to each other is important.
Macam mana kita mau faham kan?
How do you understand them without talking to them? Because now they all send maybe memes and whatever, but perasaan hati yang betul dorang sendiri they all tidak luahkan and terpendam. Memanglah will meletup one day. Yeah.
Saya selalu cakap yang human evolution cannot catch up with this development of technology.
Yeah.
So lama-lama dia akan backfire.
Yeah. So it goes back to what I said before. Yang tadi technology is upgrading. Human and behavior is not even upgrading at all. And that is where we have to see like people's personality. It goes down, that's the root cause lah. How they are, how Gen Z punya personalities are, and how to be able to work together in harmony in a workplace. Jangan like bergaduh je. That's why I say firefighting je. That's the reason now you send people to upgrade system dalam office semua. But you don't send people for training to upgrade themselves. As in dorang punya human skills lah, social skills. Yeah.
So,
and
untuk kau punya bidang lah, how do you actually conduct your service?
So I usually do this first, LPI test, and then I get to see dorang punya EQ, and then I assess from there, and then we get to curate their own leadership style and their own communication style. Like you have your own communication style already. You listen and then you talk. And then after that, when you ask questions, that's where your creative brain comes in. Yeah, like you see, even our questions dari tadi not terpesong, like it went a whole round, you know. But then for your leadership punya style, you are slow and easy. Punya leadership style, steady. So when you're a steady boss, make sure you find people who are already skillful, so that you don't have to, so that they complement yours. If you get fresh grads, fresh grads, it will hinder your performance a bit. So get those yang ada experience. So all you need to do is just tell them what to do instead of teaching them lah. Tell them what to do and they can decide fast.
Cari orang yang betul-betul pandai buat keputusan sendiri.
So imagine if you get somebody who cannot make decisions.
Sama-sama,
and then your stress level begini tinggi. Ya, kenapa lambat nih project But this is why personality mapping is also important. When I conduct training lah kan, so I will actually be able to map out in that department punya personality. So I can tell who is extroverted, who is introverted, who can make decisions, who are sensitive, who can talk, and who can analyze or macam account section yang you know because they are trustworthy. Okay, they do the numbers right and they will analyze for you macam tu. So I will be able to map it. So sometimes if I see like in the results we map already kan, and then I have the boss say, boss, kau punya office betul-betul diam kan? Ya, dorang tidak pernah bercakap because I can see the whole office is introverted.
Alamak.
So adalah introverted, task oriented. So
nobody talks to
nobody talks to anybody. And then I have another department lagi. Okay, I was like, wow, your office macam pasar malam kan? Because everybody is talking. So sometimes we just need to balance it out, put the right people to the right task. So LPI also serves as a tool for companies to see if their staff kan match dorang punya kerja ke tidak. So imagine like we said just now, they are IQ tinggi, and then you get dorang punya kertas, engineer, whatever. And then you see the person who comes is like, lawak. I was like, are you sure you're an engineer? Are you sure? Like, do you actually like your job? No, I'm an engineer because my parents asked me to be an engineer. You know, on paper cantik kan, resume. Wow, can you tell like how he talks? No, that's why interview is good. And this, if we can complement LPI with every interviews you do, you can match that person to the job that fits him without the person getting frustrated. Yeah. So let's go back to the engineer yang buat lawak semua and all whatever lah. I would give that person, hey, maybe you can do PR or you can do sales. But to the product, you must have knowledge, product knowledge juga lah. So can you imagine if he's stuck doing projects and whatever, they're frustrated kan? But if you need somebody to sell your projects, to sell whatever, you know already this person can do it. Because he can talk.
Dia lawak.
Dia, how to say, he has relational punya traits.
I can imagine your service kan, your company name is
Primal X
kan. So I can imagine your service is actually to give data to the boss so that they can decide where to put anyone gitu.
Yeah. So it's good for people who are restructuring or starting their business or having um, cultural problem, work culture problem in the office, and they cannot determine if they're always firefighting, people are always bergaduh je dalam office atau tidak pun bercakap. Itu lagi masalah. Ini bos sama ini bos dia pandai bercakap punya. And then how they make decisions. So this is where I come in.
Puak-puak lagi.
Yes. Berpuak-puak is that mapping tu lah. If you don't break out and balance that map, you will have a problem. If terlampau banyak orang yang pasar malam tu cakap saja, and
Orang
they're
berkumpul satu
highly
lah.
extroverted, they will berkumpul. And if you only have one person who is introverted in that area, the
Stress.
introverted person will be the first one to leave. Yeah, but not just like, how to say, in a group also you want to see succession punya plan. You don't know who to choose. You can see this. The person who has high decisiveness, but also other criteria that you want to look at, kan? You can see who can lead the company. And walaupun dia diam-diam. Saya tidak tahu dia ada di street. Yeah.
So macam mana kamu buat? When you do a class, training, motivational, macam mana?
If you say motivational kan, that's a word like I don't really like. Because you sometimes, if you need somebody else to motivate you, that means that motivation will only last 2 to 3 days. Yeah. But if you empower them, you give them the tools that they know how to set their default punya setting kan, they will be motivated.
They're aware of their
yes,
strength.
They're
and
aware.
weaknesses.
They're aware. Yeah. So macam tu lah. That's why when companies, when I hear motivate, okay, but
sebab
but
semua orang
empower,
kalau macam ada trainer datang, mesti motivation ya.
Yeah.
Bikin kasi naik semangat ka.
Yeah.
Team building.
Team building, yes. I do it in team buildings. So my team buildings are always based on EQ. And I always think those who are sportsmen, yang either they are some, if not musicians, or if they are they have sportsmanship in them lah, dorang bersukan, then I know they are somebody who has high EQ because dorang pernah kalah, dorang pernah menang. And they regulate that emotion. So imagine if people yang kena suruh belajar saja, and the whole time dari dia primary 1 sampai dia form 5, top class, best student. I mean, it's, don't contradict that lah. I'm not saying that it's bad, but if they never had that social punya pressure, then they will have a hard time working in the real world.
Yeah. Betul.
Yeah. Anything else? So we can talk about, those are all problems for workplace and whatever. But my, how to say, passion or my interest, like I said, my DBA is leadership for women, leadership styles for women in politics for Sabah, kan? So I like to study women lah, because I just don't like when they said, oh, she's so hormonal, you know, imo ba dia tu? I feel like I like to study women more lah, because yes, we are hormonal, we are, we make our decisions based on our cycle. So for women, I have special heart for them lah. If they want to come for training, if they need training, my door is always open. Yeah, because sometimes they are always misunderstood.
Ya, tapi evolutionarily macam women macam baru lagi diorang boleh jadi leader bahkan. So how do you like explain that? Macam
I think that is a Western culture that women have. Yalah, golongan wanita is oppressed and whatnot, because if we go back to our culture dulu-dulu, leaders in the community are bobolians, and most of them are women.
Yeah.
So we got the mindset and the cultural setting from the Westerners yang betul-betul don't see women as leaders, but naturally women are leaders in our community, and we need to tingkatkan that again lah, to see, make it visible again lah. So if people say women punya leadership is growing, no, women punya leadership has always been there. It's just that they need to be given a chance.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's why I am studying what makes them tick, what makes them a good leader. And I know, like even your result, this is gender neutral, okay? But if for women, I would say dorang punya N is tinggi. So when you have a leader whose N is high, that means they listen. They don't just buat sekadar because I said so. They do because it benefits the community.
So is it the advantage of being a woman and a leader, the listening part? Or do you find any macam kalau semua leader perempuan ini akan berlaku? Apa kebaikan dia kalau
like I said, work-life harmony?
harmony? Yeah.
So we will always need men. We will always need women. But given that now the Western put quota of just 30%, we're never gonna get that. Kan? Like, if we do our calculations right, based on our even recent political punya results, women berapa
Ratio.
saja? Tidak cukup pun 2 tangan, okay, for women to win, because the perception of women emosi lah, terlampau emosi lah, warna-warna, susah mau decide, because how are they going to lead the constituency or the state if dorang pun kena lead family dorang sendiri? But then that's the men too, they have families as well. Like the perception of women must be at home to jaga the anak-anak or whatever. That is, for me, memang karut lah. Because in a marriage there is husband and wife, and it's a balanced responsibility. So if the wife wants to carry on or have a career, then it's up to them lah. Dorang punya family. What are other people punya? Dia ni keluar je, berkempen je. Kesian laki dia di rumah. I'm like, what? You know, that perception bah. But women has always, if I were to say, natural born leaders lah juga. Because raising a family pun,
it's a leadership.
And work-life harmony, they have their responsibilities, men have their responsibilities. So they have their own ideology, they have their own creative way of thinking, men also has. So why not just combine it? And then I know there's a quota put for 30%, kan, for women to be in any setting to hold a position and whatnot. But can you imagine, like, if we kira-kira, like going back to that, we kira-kira it's going to take another 100 years to actually reach 30%. So what are we going to do with that?
Is that your grand plan untuk empower women supaya dorang boleh jadi leader and lebih banyak leader di contohnya di Sabah?
My grand plan is to not put a number on it, but just to exceed it. Yeah, to just not have expectations like women can do this, women can do that, but they actually can do it given the chance. Kan? Kalau
Cuma
kita
the
bagi,
society saja yang
the
masih
mindset punya
janggal.
change. Sometimes it's religion wise, you know, like I believe it's a support system. And if we were to talk about women, we must talk about women where men is in the audience too, right?
Itu
No-
betul.
Yeah, not just like have women's talk, women's talk,
Yeah,
women's
yeah,
talk.
Ya, saya rasa that's one of a few mistakes yang kita buat bila kita empower women.
Mhm.
Bila tiba-tiba, women's award, semua women.
Yeah.
Ataupun women.
But it's nice.
Ya,
It's
iyalah.
nice to be awarded that way. But
Tapi kalau tidak men, dorang tidak akan dapat witness and faham. The
Yeah.
situation.
So women, like I said lah, like if we want to talk about issues, the audience has to be balanced lah. Adalah lelaki juga. And then also I've been to some seminar or workshop. They are talking about women, tapi panel dorang bercakap semua lelaki. And I'm like, you're talking about
Kau pernah
issues.
jadi women kah?
Yeah, you're talking about our issues, like come on lah. And then also to see a panel yang, sama lelaki and then satu je perempuan to talk about issue terkini and what kan.
Pasal wanita.
Not just pasal wanita, on anything. And then you have like just the men talking, but what about other issues that might or that is affecting women? Are they represented? Usually not. Usually not. Yeah.
Ada satu lagi lah yang mungkin this is our last discussion lah. Yang saya perasan masih di tahap macam being inclusive to women kan, masih dorang expect yang kalau kamu kena include dalam conversation, you have to act like a man.
I love this. This.
So please.
Masculinity.
Saya cuba describe lagi lah. Tengok macam di parlimen ataupun di mana-mana leadership punya position lah. Diorang mesti act like men. Tegas lah, disiplin lah, inilah itulah yang men punya quality. So macam mana? Di mana kita di sekarang?
For me, I believe in authenticity. Like if you paksa women to be like men at the table, or to argue, or to represent themselves, then would that person be authentic or not? There must be balance lah. For me, there must be. Kejap.
Do you encourage diorang untuk match energy men? Actually, itu simple question.
Okay. So matching energy, yes. I would believe to match energy, but not to match masculinity.
Yeah.
Masculinity. Yeah, not to match that, but to match the energy. Or if the energy is high, can you imagine being the female there? You bring down lah the energy. That's the balance there. Why you already api membara sudah sana, and then you wanna be a man and all that masculine energy there? That is the advantage of a woman in that scenario, bukan? But pandailah pakai EQ, Bukan like janganlah kamu begini. No, I'm not talking about that. I am talking about like, yes, okay, be the moderator lah. Calm the situation down. And I always get like, when we're talking in a table and men will be like, okay, and we get talk over. So usually what do we do? Yeah, do you like, this is the matching lah. Like I said, you don't need to be masculine about it. You just like, be polite about it. Remember, adab is also number one for EQ. Then I'm not finished. Talk lah. That's not matching masculinity. Masculinity. Why am I saying that wrong all the time? That's not matching the masculinity of the situation, but just being your true self. Yeah. And that's what I don't get between like masculinism, feminism. It's putting labels
Yeah.
on everything when I like to see it as just harmony.
The harmony. Kan.
Harmony. Yeah.
The reason why I ask that is because dari dulu lagi saya witness yang kalau laki boleh buat, kenapa kita tidak boleh buat? Begitu lah.
Yes.
So I can see that in leadership also.
Yes.
Dalam department pun dia orang coba. Oke, dia tegas, saya pun mesti tegas. Dia teriak, saya pun mesti teriak. Nah, dia berani, saya pun mesti berani.
Yes.
Macam mau jadi lelaki lah maksudnya.
But that is about maybe that person is challenging themselves. We have to see it in their perspective. Why they want to act like that? Because they are insecure. When they are insecure, they want to be like somebody else. But then when they are authentic, when they are true to themselves,
Self-aware.
yeah, they are. They don't give themselves a chance to be themselves. They want to be like that person. I don't think they'll be a happy person. They'll be a frustrated person. But if you want to match energy, like, okay, dia berani. And see like, okay, that is a trait that I should have. So you match that. Just matching the energy lah. Matching.
Needed.
When is needed. Yeah. Because sometimes when my Faiza made a script and then there was something like, bila wanita tegas, kena label garang pula. You know, but it's just the perception of other people kan. But if you are true to yourself and that is how you carry yourself every day to be a better person than you were yesterday, then who should question that kan?
Yes, true.
Yeah, so if you're being true to yourself, like I like looking at our female leaders, kena cakap begini, whatever, they're still true to themselves. They're still true to whatever they're fighting for. Yeah. So,
and being true to yourself is actually the essence of
the essence
EQ.
Yes. And I think if I were to say why I wasn't happy before was in the workplace was because I was never let I never let myself, I had to be like another person to prove myself. And then lepas tu like saya pula frust. You know, like, and us being creative people in the workforce are always misunderstood.
Sangat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ada apa-apa lagi kamu mau pesan?
Okay, so about women, about this whole whatever, it caught me off guard. I hope I didn't step on anybody's toes lah. But being this month as International Women's Month or Women's Day.
Day ka month?
The whole month lah, we celebrate lah.
Okay.
Okay, for March, and then but International Women's Day is on the 8th of March.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So I like this year's theme. It's give to gain. So
Give to gain.
Like that's balance kan. Harmony juga you give and you gain. But in a perception for women is when you give yourself a chance to improve yourself, to know yourself better, you will grow. And then if you grow, everybody around you will grow. So that's what I think is my message to everyone around lah. Like growing is or gaining, it's not just, for everybody, but you must do for yourself first in order to help other people. Same when it goes back to EQ. To be able to lead other people, you must lead yourself first lah. Kalau kau kucar-kacir sini sana, your whole team must kucar-kacir. Yeah. So to be a better leader, have high EQ.
Women's empowerment and EQ. Thank you, Marianne.
Thank you. Did it get too dry kah?
Huh? Okay.
Okay.
Siap.
Thank you.
That was
What
fun.
time is it?
That was fun.
Okay.
Yeah. Itulah.
Oh, sorry, did I cut your ending? Okay, rewind.
This is real good.
Hah.
Nah, tengok konon tidak pandai bercakap. 2
Oh
jam.
my god.